Hi folks, these are games that are cheap now. If all you're looking for is my selection for the week, you can scroll down to the video description below and find a complete list of the games selected and the respective storefront link where to get them, either for cheap or for nothing at all. If, however, you're interested in hearing my thoughts on them, why they were selected, maybe why you would be interested in playing them, here we go. Our first port of call in our never-ending voyage in our quest to become the most frugal of spenders is Steam. Of course, the Steam summer sale is still ongoing till July 10th, if I'm not mistaken, or 11th, so a few days. But, of course, we're going to go through a few games that are not likely to be on your front page or feed for the sale. Things that you might not even know existed, or might not know are on sale currently. First up, Slipstream, a stylized arcade driving game in the style of old-timey stylized arcade driving games. Things like Outrun, Crazy Cars, or aka American Lamborghini Challenge, Lotus Challenge, the Cisco Heat, what a great game. Those games. Slipstream is sort of an homage to that, with a colorful art style, beats to match, and driving mechanics that are appropriate for this style of game. Not masterfully done, unfortunately, a bit rough around the edges, but I really enjoyed it. Second up, a masterpiece in my opinion. Some people don't like the art style. I think it's very much in line with the Monkey Island art style from previous entries and more modern. Return to Monkey Island is fairly recent. I think it came out 2022. I'm sure the screenshot will show that. And is potentially the final entry to the Monkey Island series? No, probably not. It is a wonderful point-and-click adventure. It is a Monkey Island point-and-click adventure, so you will be finding new and imaginative ways of insulting your enemies to beat them in duel. Third down on the list is Word Factory, where you will, be in a world of word salads, of factories that make word salads. I think the first resource you get is an eye, because it's one single stick, as it were, and you have to bend it and twist it and add other eyes to another eyes and make L's and whatnot, and construct other letters, and then make words with the letters. So, I am throwing down the gauntlet and I'm challenging you to spell out superfragilisticexpialidocious multiple times. I dare you. In Word Factory. In a very much darker theme, Stasis or Stasis Bone Totem. Another point-and-click adventure. We have quite a few interesting ones this week, but really nowhere near Monkey Island's humor. Much grimmer and grimier. You're going to go through awful, horrific, ominous facilities, dangerous locations, possible mechanical or organic horrors hunting you. This is the world of Stasis. If you have not played one of the previous games by, I think it's The Brotherhood? I forget the studio names. But very atmospheric. The settings, very well made. Soundscapes, a bit hit and miss. Dialogues, not always the best voice acting. Not always the best of writing, I have to say, but fitting for the setting. And they make for very enjoyable playthroughs. This one is fairly recent, less than a year ago I think it was released, and is, at least the first time I've seen it, for such a deep discount. Just over €10. And then we have the Plat de Résistance, the Big Kahuna. I think all of the games in the bundle are also on sale individually, but if you have not played Doom, Ultimate Doom, Doom 2, Doom 3, Doom the reboot in 2016 with one kick-ass soundtrack and kick-ass, what's it called, Doom kills? When you crush the skulls and whatnot and pull out their tongues, and it's carnage. And Doom Eternal, it's eternal carnage. You will get in what to me feels like a Doom trance. You start playing the game in the rhythm of the soundtrack. You kill hellish fiends with each new beat, and you get into a trance. Kill after kill, carnage after carnage, and you just go on into a flawless cleaning out of the level you're in, and you then wake up from the trance. You're sweating, you're drooling, you feel like you should have blood and demonic guts in your hands, but you don't because you're playing a game. But you have become the Doom guy, the Slayer incarnate. You are the only and last rampart that protects humanity from the hordes of hell. And all because companies decided that hellish energy was a renewable and sustainable power source. Companies in a dystopian future universes, yeah. Down with the corporate overlords, says Doom Guy. He's always right, or at least he's always the last person standing, so. You can get the bundle for just under 25 euros. All of those wonderful games. Onto the humblest of bundlest bundles? Games? Humble Bundle. Of course, because we are the second week of the month, there is a new set of games that if you pay for the membership, you'll be able to unlock come the end of the month. Of these, well, you might have interest in more than one. Starship Troopers. I like Starship Troopers, the Verhoeven movie. Forget about the others. I believe this actually is not a bad game. I have not played it. I have not seen videos about it. Maybe worth a look at. What I'm interested in, however, Ghost Runner, again, haven't played it, haven't seen it. If it's anything like Ghost Runner 1, it's probably good. But A Plague Tale Requiem. I loved A Plague Tale Innocence. I particularly enjoyed and feared the rat mechanics. And no, despite the name that I attributed it, I'm not sure the developers ever used the term rat mechanics. No, it's not tiny little cute helpful mice that repair engines. And if you ever tried to get to something in an Audi's or BMW's engine compartment, my god, are human hands too big and even pinky fingers too thick to get to anything. So rat mechanics, helpful rat mechanics would be ideal. However, no, not that type of rat mechanic. Horrendous seas of plague-infected, gnawing teeth, beady-eyed rats. That sort of rat mechanics is what is very, very iconic in the game. There's more rat seas and hordes in Plague Tale Requiem. Sends shivers down my spine, but not just. You have beautiful settings, a story of sibling love and tragedy, and the plague. I'm trying to not spoil anything because the story is most of what makes the game interesting. There's more of everything in this game compared to the first, I would say, but maybe a bit hit and miss with some of the dialogues, maybe a bit hit and miss with some of the pacing and combats. Still a very good game. You can get it for almost free with the Humble Bundle, so if you're anywhere near interested, now's the time. Actually on sale on the Humble Bundle storefront, and to the point because we mentioned The Long Drive, a very similar game, and we passingly mentioned Pacific Drive. It is now on sale. It was a very recent game. It has a dash of cyberpunk. It has a teaspoon of X-Files conspiracy theories. It has a cupful of Sega Rally, because you're driving around on muddy roads. It has a bit of several elements. It has a fistful. Is that a measurement in American cuisine? Americans use very strange measurements for cuisine. Instead of, actual liters and grams, it's strange because they think that a teaspoon is a more direct way of being able to measure things, as if teaspoons were standardized sizes, which they aren't. So you might get terrible recipes following those measurements, because teaspoons and cupfuls, there's lots of different teaspoon sizes and lots of different cup sizes. Let's not wander off too much. Pacific Drive. You will find it very enjoyable, addictive, until you actually uncover the mysteries and get to where you might want to get to. Maybe you don't want to get there. You have to find out for yourself. Pacific Drive. Things you also have to find out if you're going to be an ace attorney in a bonkers universe. Of course, you investigate the crime scenes yourself, and you then interrogate everyone pre-trial, because double, And then, during trial, you can very aggressively just scream, "Objection!" to almost anything and everything. Well, if you do that, you'll probably lose the cases, but if you do it right, with objections and objections, you will win the cases. It's very satisfying, in a kind of a schizophrenic way, but still, ace attorney. And to round things off, because we're using rock balls, round things up, okay. Rock of Ages 3, Make and Break. If you're anything like me, you love Python-esque humor. And Rock of Ages is potentially what Monty Python's Flying Circus could have used as interludes between sketches. If you like Python-esque humor, if you like playing marbles, I liked playing marbles when I was a kid, maybe that's something to do with why I like these games. If you like tower defense, mechanics and whatnot, quickly managing how to defend against big rocks, this is wonderful. Wonderful game. You might as well pick up 1 and 2 for the fun of it. Probably also on sale, but for barely over €1, man oh man, will you have a belly laugh or two with this one. And the final stop, where we all want to go, GOG.com. DRM-free platform. Oh yes. Where we all want to, well, not necessarily want to, but where we all will end up. Dead. And Grim Fandango is there to pick up the things from there, because he works at Death Administration. It is a wonderful point-and-click adventure. You have never played it, especially the remastered version. I played it way back when, and replayed it for the remastered version. It is, frankly, even more wonderful than I remembered. And now that I think about it, I had not put 2 and 2 together. Yeah, worked out why most characters are Mexican, despite the theme, the aesthetics being Dia de los Muertos related, so the Day of the Dead festival they have there. But yeah, not gonna spoil it too much. It is hilarious and kind of sad and fun to play. Grim Fandango. Also kind of sad. Not necessarily much fun to play. There isn't that much gameplay in the rec. More of a narrative experience. Very recent game. Not very well known, I don't think. It is quite a journey. And one that I don't regret making. And one that I would advise others to dive into. Not the cheapest, but well worth the price of admission if you're anything into grief-stricken life stories. I mean, not exactly a Sunday afternoon experience to have with the entire family, but something that will stick in your mind for a while. And maybe, what if something like this would happen to you? Food for thought, and a great game, The Wreck. Another what if of sorts, but a what if that actually came true. What if the original Mafia game that is nigh on unplayable today was remade and spruced up to the modern standards of Mafia 2 and Mafia 3? Well, a few years ago, that dream came true. Mafia Definitive Edition brings the original Mafia to, well, the then today's standards. Not the Godfather-like script, granted, but my god, just the cars. The cars, I fell in love with the cars, I fell in love with the setting, I fell in love with the city. The story is a bit passable, but still enjoyable to play through. Gotta remember a few things, because I'm now also playing City of Gangsters. First up, you leave the gun, you take the cannoli. Don't forget the cannoli, you have to take them. The gun can stay. First. Secondly, you never ask the boss to whack someone at their daughter's wedding. It's disrespectful. That's 2. 3, I don't know. Are there any rules to not Fight Club? You need to talk about Fight Club. Because otherwise, what would Robert De Niro say? He would say, are you talking to him? Do not talk about Fight Club. That's right. Mafia Definitive Edition. Shadowrun Trilogy. What a series of games. This almost passed me by because I knew not that Shadowrun was a thing. Actually, that's not quite true. I believe I have a vague memory of seeing the game cartridge back in the, was it 16-bit console days? But I never played it, I never knew anyone that had it, and never saw it played since. Then, Shadowrun Returns was released in, I want to say 2012, 13, something like that. And then, Shadowrun Falls, Shadowfall, Lightfall, something. And then Shadowrun Hong Kong. And I'm misremembering the middle entry to the trilogy because I didn't play it. I actually didn't finish Returns. I started Hong Kong, didn't have time to finish either. But the time I spent with them, I enjoyed thoroughly. Beautiful worlds, interesting setting. It's a sci-fi, futuristic, fantastical universe. CRPG, turn-based combat, interesting dialogues and quest lines. These are a must-have. And the very depressing cherry on a very, very bitter cake, this War of Mine. One of my favorite games of all time. Every single time it comes on sale, I say to myself, some people have not played it. Some people don't know of this game. They need to. This War of Mine Complete Edition includes the Little Ones DLC that introduces children to an already poignant and heart-wrenching and desperate world of this War of Mine, having people survive urban warfare and desperate situations of all sorts. It also includes the storylines, the actual narrative-driven pre-made campaigns, and all the goodies for under €4. And I do believe that the studio still contributes, for every purchase, still contributes a portion of it, I think it's €1 or something, to organizations that support victims of war and displacement, like War Child, and so worthy contribution, a wonderful game, a frankly wonderful game studio. If all game studios were like them, bravo, and an experience that will stick with you forever. Not the happiest of notes to end on, in terms of emotional gravitas that you will come out of playing this War of Mine, frankly, but what a game. Thoroughly enjoyable, even the end and so. Kind of like, I don't know, watching Schindler's List and looking at the little red girl with the red jacket walking through the streets that are a spectacle of inhumanity, and having the SS round up people in the ghetto of, was it Warsaw? I forget. You know, real life and death, civilizational tragedy level things. This War of Mine. And those were the games I found are either cheap or almost free to get this week on several online platforms. See you next time. Until then.